Welcome, friends. Thank you so much for coming. We are going to do some fun mixing and mastering today of a song by Jenae Inez. The song's called Mirrors. I'm excited for everybody to check this out. We just did a sort of a pre-session before this to touch up on a couple vocal effects and things that I was hearing in the rough mix that I don't think we had bounced into the multi-track. So I went ahead and took care of some of that stuff. And it's important to do as much as possible before you start mixing, because I don't want to have to take a step back from what I'm doing in order to make something at least where it needs to be from the beginning, right? Like we don't want to spend a bunch of time on something and base a lot of our decisions off of certain decisions we made, like certain effects in EQ, and then have the artist say, oh, by the way, this whole thing is missing from the rough mix. So you always want to make sure that you're listening to the rough mix and just noting certain really like important aspects. Like there were some kind of atmospheric effects on some of her ad libs and just things I noticed that were done in the rough that artists have a tendency to, we like to use the term, get married to the rough mix. It's they're living with this version. There's a lot of things about it they liked because they were working with whether it was with a producer, with an engineer at a studio, and they were doing certain things in the moment, especially after those tracking sessions. You're in it. You're in this certain headspace where you are picking certain effects and you're just like, yeah, that's it. And, you're feeling everything. You don't care so much about the mix at that point. You're just doing things because there's an emotional reason for doing it. And that's a fun part of the process. What we don't want to do is we don't want to neglect that, because people walk away with that mix and they live with that mix for a while until they get to the final mixing stage. So that's where we're at today. And as I said, we addressed some of those things prior to the session. And yeah, this is where we're at. So let me just real quick introduce our artist. As I said, Jenae Inez, this is our artist. Really talented artist, producer. Has a lot of great music already on here. I was listening to some of it before we started. All of it sounds really good. The writing is great. I just love her style in general. She did give me a J. Cole reference so you are all welcome to bring this song up. So 03 Adolescence is the reference track. So yeah, we're going to be kind of jumping through the mix like we normally do. We're going to take a listen to the producer's mix first, and then we'll go through and walk through the session and kind of see what we're looking at before we get started. All right, sound good? Okay, so yeah, here's my Ableton session, and we have the producer's mix up at the top, and then we have, of course, the multi-tracks below. But let's first take a listen to the song in its entirety from the producer's mix, and we'll go from there. All right, so the song is Mirrors by Jenae Inez. Here we go.
Tape up Benny to my head and chase the game. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles. Steady living, all my pictures ain't got tangled. Now this image I had driven had me handled. Wait, hold up. Damn. Reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at? Why she never so alive? These four angles stuck inside this box like she been televised. Who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God so shows you that sore behold, that joy you go, and that mirror just show proof, mirror just showed you. All these mirrors just appearing. 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 All these mirrors she said she appearing back. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally matched. And she said she bring it back. wait for smoke to clear up. Call, collect the guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all alone, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but the joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm going. And it's all these mirrors just appearing. 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 All these mirrors. She said she want it back. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she said she want it bad. She do anything to have. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirrors.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying in the beginning when my mic was muted, we had like a session prior to the mix session today where we were just filling in some gaps with some effects and things like that were missing from the rough mix. So including, I mean, there was a filter in the, I want to say it's coming out of verse 2. There was a drum filter that I was like, wait, there's barely any drums there, but in my multi-tracks, I have all these drums. So, that kind of stuff, you're going to spend all this time. Yeah, you can see this filter move right here that I did on the drums. And that stuff is, it's really important. They did that for a reason. So sometimes you got to recreate those things. Anyway, so yeah, that's basically where we're at. Song is super dope. Really excited to work on this. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started by looking at the session. This was actually helped Jenae bounce this out of Pro Tools. So one thing to, and this is like sort of a behind the scenes of what we experience when it comes to this stuff. I know that there were plugins that like the producer had or that the last studio she was working at had, and a lot of those plugins were inactive in her session. So it's an interesting thing because it's like if I didn't know any better, I wouldn't have realized that stuff was missing. Like if I was working with her remotely and I didn't see the session, and I would just been like, oh yeah, there's a couple of vocal effects missing, but that's it. Whereas like some people might think that's a big deal. It's like, oh, well, you're missing all these EQs and things like that. Well, just listen, because it might not be as bad as you think. And when I'm listening now to the multi-tracks, there's not a lot of dramatic differences besides the stuff we already addressed with the vocal effects that I was talking about earlier. But that's about it. Like there's not really so they did a good job capturing all the sounds that they had, like the really important stuff, like the sounds of the keys and the drums, like all that stuff was captured. And now here we are, we're ready to make this just better than where they left it. So this is what our job is, to take it to that next level. I think you'll agree, like the song is already like, it's there, right? I mean, there's the writing, the production, like the performances, all that stuff is already there. We just got to take it to that next level. And by listening to the reference, if you do bring up that J. Cole reference, or if you just listen to the rest of Jenae's stuff on Spotify, you'll hear that there is, there's a nice presence to her voice, or, to the J. Cole reference, just in general. There's a quality thing there that I think needs to be addressed in terms of bringing the voice a little bit more forward, making it a little bit fatter. And, just little details in the instrumental. I mean, the instrumental's already got some nice width to it, some nice depth. There's already a lot of great things happening here. So yeah, not like we got to reinvent the wheel here, but we're definitely going to take it to that next level. As I normally do with these streams, I already have a little bit of limiting on the master bus, just so we can get a little bit more volume out of the stream. I barely have any limiting happening right now, but as we are where we are at right now in terms of LUFS, I just want to show everybody. Let me just jump into the chorus here.
All these mirrors just
So we're sitting at about anywhere between like minus 14 to minus 12 LUFS, with a true peak already sitting at about -1. So yeah, just to give us some volume. There's not a whole lot of limiting going on right now in order to achieve that. Awesome. So let's look at the session. I got an instrumental subgroup here, which will help us possibly later on when we EQ or process some of the instrumental to the vocal. We have our drum subgroup, which there's quite a lot of stuff going on here in the multitrack. As I said in the prior stream that we did, I was really kind of just like a general statement about this stuff and how I really like how every project is different. You know, every set of multi-tracks is different. Every challenge is different. So yeah, I'm always excited to kind of jump in and see how quickly I can familiarize myself with the project. Now, I will say that the process of listening to the producer's mix and listening to the multi-tracks like back to back is part of that process of familiarizing yourself with the song. And it's good to do that because that way you're not just, you want to be creative, but you don't know where stuff is, and that can kind of play into getting a little stuck creatively. So yeah, just try to familiarize yourself as much as possible. Honestly, though, this is some of the first that I'm looking at the drum multi-tracks, the instrumental multi-tracks, but we did some work on the vocals earlier, so I'm familiar with those and some of the instrumental stuff. But yeah, we got all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, pretty standard. Really cool production. Looks like we got, was that like a reverse kick? Okay, no. It said kick, but it's not a kick. Cool. We'll work with it. All right. Got some bass, a couple bass tracks. Nice. Nice. I love the change up. Yeah, got all of our keys, pianos, plenty of those. We got our horns and strings. We're working with the sax a little earlier, and then we got our vocals. Okay, I did pick out a couple redundant things earlier. I'm not going to delete them. I'm just muting them, but they seem to have been like duplicates. In fact, what I may do here, and I did already a little bit of, for those of you that have seen my streams before, it's very common for us to get audio or like the lead vocal as one giant audio file, and then I'll go through and split them off so that way I have them on separate tracks. I may do that with this. Let's see what we got. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, all these bitches say she give it back. She do anything to have. Yeah, we might end up splitting those off. We'll see. But yeah, there's all of our lead vocals. And we got some really cool vocal effects that they did. All that's printed. I'm glad all that's printed because there's some really unique stuff in there, which is cool. And then we just got some effects in here as well. So, things like delay taps, some pitched vocals, some chorusy kind of like stuff to fill in some of the moments with the lead. You might consider those to be doubles or backgrounds, depending on how you label them. But awesome. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to mute. I'm going to mute the lead vocal. You know what? Let's go ahead and just mute all the vocals for right now. And looks like we got these effect tracks. I'm just going to double check, make sure these aren't. Hold on a second. Yeah, because a lot of these are just really quiet, so it's hard to see the waveform. Like this stuff here. Yeah, I'm going to leave that stuff muted as well. And I have a feeling that when we do our first mix and I send it to Jenae, that I will get some notes like, can you bring up those things a little bit louder, that thing a little louder. I feel like we're going to get some level notes in terms of the vocal effects. But that's all good because, yeah, we can kind of anticipate that. But let's go ahead and get started. As per usual, I'm going to more than likely start with my drums, and I'll work in with my bass, my pianos, my keys. I didn't preemptively open up this EQ plugin. I've been using this thing like it's just till I'm blue in the face. This BrainWorks Console N. I'm going to continue to use this today. I might use this as a combination with like the Slate stuff. But yeah, for those of you that aren't familiar, this has a random channel function on it. You'll see me open this up and I'll hit this button here and it randomizes the console channel. It's got like 72 channels on it, so it'll give me a channel that's not being used already in the session, and then that will help give a little bit of that unique console sound to the mix. But and as always, if you have any questions about what I'm doing, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I will address them as I can check them out. All right, let's go.
chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles. Steady living on my picture. Now this image I had driven. Yeah. Tape a Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles. Steady living on my pictures and got tangled. Now this image I had driven had me handle. Wait, hold up. Damn. Reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at? Why she there and so alive? These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised. Man, Who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God slowly shows you that soar behold, and that joy you go, and that mirror just show proof. Mirror show. All the mirrors, yeah, all the mirrors. Tape a Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles. Steady living, all my pictures ain't got tangled. Now this image I had driven had me handled. Wait, hold up, damn. Reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at? Why she there and so alive? These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised. Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God slowly shows you that soar behold, and that joy you go, and that mirror just show proof. Mirror just showed you. All these mirrors just appearing. 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 And she say she want it back.
So I was just gonna say really quick, there's a little telephone EQ on this vocal that we did earlier in the earlier session, which is just kind of cranking up this 2K and this 5K, and that's how we're getting that sort of telephony sound on this. So without the EQ, it sounds like this.
All these mirrors just appearing.
Here's with it.
All these mirrors just appearing.
Yeah, just a heads up on that.
All these mirrors just appearing. 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 All these mirrors. And she say she want it back. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors. For the mirrors. For bad. Bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. Bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. Bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors. For the mirrors. Bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors. For the mirrors. For the mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirror. Yeah. I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. Found me mirrors. Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirror. Yeah. I'm in a glass. Yeah. I'm in a glass. Yeah. I'm in a glass. I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. Found me, put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call, collect a guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all alone, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone. the joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors. Tape a Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles. Steady living, all my pictures ain't got tangled. Now this image I had driven had me handled. Wait, hold up. Damn. Reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at? Why she there and so alive? These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised. Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God slowly shows you that sore behold and that joy you go. And that mirror just showed proof, mirror just showed you. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. And she say she want it back. She do anything to have. Bought it out for the mirror. I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. I'm in a glass house. I'm in a glass house. Back. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally mad. Back. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call collector guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear you down bad. She do anything to have. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror. I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirrors. And she say she want it back. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she say she want it, mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. She do anything to have. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally mad. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. For the mirrors, for the mirrors. All these mirrors, all these mirrors. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have.
Yeah.
For the mirrors,
Yeah.
for the mirrors,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the mirror. And she say she want it bad. And she say she want it bad. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have.
Yeah.
For the mirrors,
Yeah.
for the mirrors,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the mirror.
Yeah. I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call collector guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear you, dang. It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom,
So
see
I'm toying with this like reverb idea on the lead because it's like it's too dry, but I'm trying to figure out what I like here.
Yeah.
So I put a little bit of this on here.
Tape a Benny to my head and chase the dangle.
Kinda like
Post
that.
some pictures on IG and switch them angles. Steady living, all my pictures ain't got tangled. Now this image I had driven had me handle. Wait, hold up, damn. Reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at?
It's this vocal effects chain I made earlier, but you know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna let me duplicate this. All right, so I'm basically gonna make one for the verses, but just not so crazy. Oh, she likes it? Nice. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm feeling it too. I'm gonna make it a little bit just different, just slightly, just to vary it from where the what's it called? Because I do have that on some of the ad libs and stuff. So I'm just gonna make one that's a little bit smoother.
Tape a Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles.
So that's this one right
Steady
here.
living, all my pictures ain't got tangled. Now this image I had driven had me handle. Wait, hold up.
There we go. It's a
Damn.
little bit of high end rolled off.
Reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at? Why she there and so alive? These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised. Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God slowly shows you that sore behold and that joy you go. And that mirror just showed proof, mirror just showed you. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just
Yeah, and at this point, like a lot of the vocal effects and things that they already did are just kind of like doing their thing. I'm not, if I hear anything, actually I do have these effects muted right here. So I'm gonna play it back from the beginning and just listen. But right now, like in terms of the way things are sitting, I'm starting to feel a little bit more at ease. And then what I'm gonna start doing is making it louder with some of the limiting and see how that affects stuff as well. So let's roll it back to the beginning.
Tape
a Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures.
So some of you may have seen me use the that RL360 plugin, that binaural plugin. I do want to use that. There's that little, I think this is the effect right here. Yeah, I'm going to use that on this. I feel like this is going to be really cool. Just add a little something different. Let's see if we can put it behind us. So there's a Max for Live plugin in Ableton called LFO, and let's see if I can track this thing down here. Yeah, LFO. So I can assign this to this parameter right here that I'm kind of like playing with. Let's hope doesn't get too weird here, but let's see. Azimuth. I believe it's right there. Yeah, so basically I hit map, and I can map it to anything. See, look, we don't want it to do that. That's funny. All right, so let me put this. Yeah, it doesn't like that. All right, hold on. No, I'm not going to put Corey's like, I want to hear what that sounds like. Yeah, hold up. Let me try to make this sane for a second. Okay, so that's more what I'm looking for. That's kind of dope. Let's see.
A Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles. Steady living on my
Yeah, that's sick. It's like a little behind you, but it's still there. All right, I'm gonna entertain Corey's idea. What was it? Hold on, wait. Here, let me just put the offset where I want it. Let me duplicate this. And now let me put it back to the original. Wait, is it doing, hold on. X map. Oh, now it doesn't like me for some reason. Well, you know what? We'll do it to something else. Promise. Possibly.
A Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles. Steady living on my pictures ain't got tangled.
All right, listening.
Now this image I had driven had me handle. Wait, hold up. Damn. Reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at? Why she there but so alive? These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised. Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and got some box like she been televised. Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God suddenly shows you that sore behold and that joy you go and that mirror just showed proof. Mirror just showed you all these mirrors just appearing. Why I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God suddenly shows you that sore behold and that joy you go and that mirror just showed proof. Mirror just showed you all these mirrors just appearing. 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 All these mirrors. If she say she want it back, she do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. For the mirrors,
Yeah,
for the mirrors,
yeah.
for the mirror.
Yeah, I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call, collect a guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all along. Guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all
I want to hear these verses sound a little different.
damn. Reality now burns inside. And I can't recognize who this girl I'm looking at.
I think I'm gonna just duplicate these because I feel like they might be a little different in tone, so I can treat them differently.
Damn. Reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at? Why she there and so alive? These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised. Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof?
Okay, there's a little ad lib there.
These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised. Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show?
It's in here.
These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised. Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised.
It's not that one.
Why I gotta go through? Who do I gotta go through? Man, who do
Yeah, there's like a lower ad lib.
man,
No, so it's in the main tracks.
man,
Might be that right there.
man,
Hmm.
man.
Maybe it's this ad lib right here.
Vibes.
No.
Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show?
Maybe it's just in the lead here.
Man, who do
That could be in it right there.
man?
Yeah, she's just got a different tone right there.
She been televised. Man, who do I gotta go through?
And that's totally fine. We have the means to just split stuff. You know, why not? Why not do what it takes? And if there's more vocals like that, I can just put it on this track.
Man, 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 who do I gotta go through? Man, who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God slowly shows you that soar behold, that joy you go, and that mirror just showed proof, mirror just showed you. All these mirrors just appearing. 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 All these mirrors. If she say she want it back, she do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have.
Yeah.
For the mirrors,
Yeah.
for the mirrors.
Yeah.
For the mirror,
Yeah. I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call, collect a guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors just appearing.
all these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors.
And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirrors.
Nice.
Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher. Bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors.
Just wonder if I got to DS a little bit here just to get just a little bit of that high end controlled. I don't do a lot of de-essing, but I am going to experiment really quick. I believe we got it under this one right here. Yeah. Let's put this on the front end and see what it does.
And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have.
Yeah, it's already better.
Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad. She do anything to have. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. For the mirrors.
Yeah, let me real quick. Let me reference it up real quick. Nice. All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah. For the mirrors.
Yeah.
For the mirrors.
Yeah.
For the mirror.
Yeah, I'm in a glass house engulfed with smoking mirrors. Finally put that fire.
Cool. There's a lot of good stuff in this mix. I have kind of like a 50-50 of tracks where I got to add a lot of effects and others where I don't because they're already given to me. So this is a good example of some of these effects here.
Bad. She do anything to have.
I love these kinds of tracks because there's like so much fun room for effects, like with the sax and with the vocals, and it's like I want to slap reverb all over the piano, and it's like, but I can't because then it'll sound. Well, it probably sound pretty good actually, but I don't want to go too overboard. Let's see.
Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match. And she say she want it bad.
Yeah, we don't need
She
it.
do anything to have. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally match.
Nice. Control a little mid-range.
Yeah.
For
Nice
the
guy.
mirrors,
Yeah.
for the mirrors,
Yeah.
for the mirror finally
Yeah,
match.
I'm in a glass house engulfed with smoking mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call collector guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear you, dang. It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing.
For the mirrors,
Yeah,
for the mirrors,
yeah,
for the mirror. Yeah, I'm in a glass house engulfed with smoke and mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call, collect a guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors just appearing.
Sounds like there's a little bit of pumping there with one of our compressors, so I'm gonna see where that's coming from.
Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirror. Yeah. I'm in a glass house engulfed with smoke and mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call, collect a guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors. Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirror. Yeah. I'm in a glass house engulfed with smoke and mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call, collect a guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors just appearing. 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 All these mirrors just.
Yeah, give me 1 second. All right, I'm getting told that there might be a little distortion on the stream, so I'm gonna pull things back just a little bit.
Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirror. Yeah. I'm in a glass house engulfed with smoke and mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call, collect a guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's
Could also be the fact that I added that tape saturation, which is hit or miss. Gotta try it out sometimes. Might be a little too much for this though. So yeah, at this point, I'm basically just kind of like listening through, hearing if there's anything that's bothering me. Right now I'm hearing like I'm trying to get sort of like a target loudness, and I'm pretty happy with where things are sitting, but it's not perfect yet. So I'm experimenting with a couple different things. You see me playing with the Shadow Hills compressor, some limiting, just flipping through like, okay, faster release time, all that stuff. So a couple more minutes, and then we'll kind of walk through what we've done to this point. Lots to talk about.
Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirrors. Yeah. For the mirror. Yeah. I'm in a glass house engulfed with smoke and mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up. Call, collect a guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear your day. It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors. Yeah. Still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. All these mirrors just appearing. Damn, reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's all these mirrors just appearing.
All right.
All these mirrors.
So like I've said in the past, shooting for that 90 to 95%, and then going back and having a listen the next morning, giving yourself a good ear break, and then getting the notes from the artist is where I generally try to get in these. And I think right now I'm feeling pretty good about everything like we've done. And if we listen to the producer mix, we can definitely hear that we've made improvements. So that's good. Like that's basically where we want to head in that direction. So like just really quick, if I play, here's the producer mix.
It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses.
Right, and then here's us.
Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong. And it's
So definitely a marked improvement in terms of clarity and quality there, which is great. There's a couple things regarding like some high mids that I'm kind of second guessing a little bit that I will definitely get on my next, just kind of listen through. I think when I take that time to do it after I give myself a break. So let's kind of walk through what we've done to this point. A lot of really good stuff in here. So let's start with the instrumental. So with the drums, wasn't a ton of stuff. Like I decided to leave the kick alone. I did sort of, arbitrarily put my EQ on there, but I didn't do anything on it. So that really wasn't there for any particular reason. Snare though, the snare was interesting because there was a lot of low stuff in here. And this is something that I also found with the piano. Low end in general are, definitely yay for your verses. Yeah. Love the verses. So, that was the artist commenting. Yes, I agree with you on the verses. So let's talk about the just low end in general. There's I like to categorize low end in terms of musical and non-musical. So like non-musical low end is just stuff that's just kind of there. It just feels like you feel it, but it has no musical purpose. Okay, and in this snare, let's hear the snare really quick. Okay, so that's with my EQ on. Let me turn off the EQ. So depending on your listening environment, you may possibly be hearing that sort of low, I categorize as like a puffiness. There's just air being moved under that side stick. It's just not doing anything. It's just taking up energy. It's going to clash with the bass, with the kick. Maybe not with the kick because it's not playing at the same time, but you get what I'm saying. It's all living in that area. So just rolling some of that off here. Let me just bring on my EQ. Okay, so you can see that I'm taking the shelf and I'm rolling off up to about 120. Looks like, yeah, and just taking a lot out of that. And then something that you see me do a lot is boosting some of this mid-range. We're at about 1.6K to just bring clarity to the sound, bring it into focus. That does give it some volume, but to me it also brings out the tone that's necessary in that sound, feeling like it's almost a little 3D. So yeah, that's did a lot of that across the mix. I didn't really touch much of anything in terms of these. Yeah, like these other hi-hats and instruments, just because it didn't pop out, it didn't feel like it needed it. It just felt good where it was already. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could do a similar thing with that hi-hat now that hearing it in context. Yeah, Just a little bit, but I'm not going to mess with the blend. That's the producer's blend. Let's roll with it. On the drums in general, I did add some tape saturation, some of the Slate virtual tape. That's going to add just in general low end, and it's also going to add like a nice kind of glue to the whole sound of the drums. Here's with it. Here's without it.
Living all my pictures ain't got tangled.
Here's with it. Without it. So it gets a little thinner, a little more kind of sterile. Yeah, together it just kind of brings it all together with that on there. I like that. Now just did some overall drum EQ. You can see me boosting some mid-range here, some 800 hertz. See, without this, drums kind of fall back a little bit. Yeah, that 800 hertz like pushes it forward. It pushes the tone of the drum forward a little bit. I really love doing that with this EQ. And then with the tape machine definitely makes a big difference to me. Yeah, didn't have to do like a lot of EQ on the, unlike the kick drum or anything like that. Just a couple things that we saw on the snare, side stick, and the hi-hat. That's it, right? Keeping it simple. Now the bass, did a couple cool things on the bass here. We'll start with the 808. Yes, I put a binaural effect on the 808, but you can see I'm doing just barely something here just to make it feel a little different. I'm not trying to do anything really weird. Put a little plugin on there to compensate for the change in volume, just so I could gain match the two, so when I bypass it, it would be the same volume as when it's turned on, just so I could make a good judgment call as to whether it was giving me something that was useful. But here's with it off. This is the original. And then on. It's adding the most subtle amount of width to the 808. It's not doing a bunch of weird stuff here. If I pull this back a little bit, that feels a little bit more like that depth I was looking for. Yeah, it feels a little bigger, but again, not super night and day difference, not trying for a night and day difference. I'm just trying to enhance it a little bit. That depth does also add to the separation between the kick and the 808 as well. So I was going for a little bit of both worlds there. I did add some of that tone, some of that 800, just to give it some definition, kind of help it pop out of the mix a little bit, help it be heard a little bit. With the drums, sounds like this. Sounds pretty good. Yeah, they sit nicely together. All right, let's go to the next section with this bass here. So I use that same plugin again, same reasons, for a little bit of that depth, a little bit of that width. I did in the console plugin, so with this EQ, I turned off the, on a lot of analog EQs, you turn off the shelving curve, it gives you a bell curve. Just not a bell curve that you can change with a bandwidth function, but you basically have this off, so we now have a bell, and it's down at like the 60 hertz range. And the idea there was that the bass and the kick were really just kind of fighting for space. So I was trying to bring out that definition. Additionally, I'm adding this around 400 hertz to help almost compensate for the energy that I took out on the low end. Let's see if we can hear the difference if let me bypass all these plugins. So, the difference is, it is subtle, but I do think, to me, it feels like there's an obvious quality difference there, where the bass is now heard more. There's more clarity with that bass, and the kick has more clarity and definition as well. But we don't lose anything important. That's the important part, right? You don't want to take out a bunch of something for the sake of clarity, but then sacrifice the vibe of the sound. So you don't want to do that. And that sometimes means that you take away something to help create that clarity between the relationship of two sounds, and then add a frequency potentially back to just kind of compensate for that loss of energy. So just something to keep in mind when you're doing that. All right, let's look at the piano. I think the main one we touched here. Yes, we have our intro piano, intro/outro piano. So this had a lot of that low, non-musical energy that I'm talking about. Let me bypass my EQ. Here's on. So for the sake of example, I will say it's thinner. Okay, I'm just saying that only because we're taking low end out. We're boosting some mid-range. Those are things that will traditionally make a sound feel thinner if you're doing it too much. In this case, because of the context, right, we have the Rhodes that are filling out that bottom, that low mid of the sound. So the low mid of the piano, isn't really necessary.
Yeah.
See, so we got the Rhodes along with the piano. What's that? Jenae commented. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's sometimes, and just addressing the question here, Jenae was talking about how like she gets a lot of that issue with the kick and the 808 fighting each other in the mix. So that's a good point, because I think a lot of people struggle with that. And sometimes it's like a half a dB or a dB. You just got to find what is the part of the track that's sounding, we'll say, cloudy. Where are the kick and the bass hitting at the same place with? And a lot of the times, like, just listen to each sound, right? If the 808 sounds like it's got way too much energy than it needs, like it's, let's say it's 100 hertz, then that's what needs to get dipped back a little bit. But if the 808's perfect, and the kick is, let's say the 808 and the kick are perfect, right? But there's still something there that's fighting. That means that you can afford to lose like a dB, where the two of them are meeting, and then the kick will pop out a little bit more. The bass, if the 808 loses a little bit of that energy at that, let's say it's 100 hertz, let's say it's 60 hertz, you only do it so much to where the kick gets that clarity. You got to do it while listening to both of them at the same time. And then find something in the 808. Let's say it's the 808 that loses that little bit of 60 hertz, 100 hertz, whatever. Then go into the 808 and see, all right, well, what happens when I boost like 200 hertz? Let me just add a little bit of that 200 and see if it gives back some of that energy that was lost, and maybe even something lower, maybe 30 hertz, and just see. So yeah, so that's just kind of a broad example, but very common, very, very common. And with the like I said, with the piano and the Rhodes here, we don't have to worry so much about thinning out the piano. If the piano felt like it was getting a little harsh, just pull back some of that mid range that we were adding on it. Yeah, like right here, I'm adding this. What is that? 1K. Yeah. So.
Tape up Benny to my head and
I think that could probably use a little bit more reverb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I was messing with the Valhalla Room. It's not really doing anything for me. So I'm gonna go with a good old vintage verb, because it just always sounds good on everything.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. All the mirrors. Yeah.
Easy.
All the mirrors. Tape up Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some
Piano does get a little abrasive up there when it gets louder. So I'm just going to put some of this TDR Nova right in the 2K range just for when it hits harder. Watch what happens.
tape up any to my all the mirrors. Tape up all the mirrors. Tape up all the mirrors. Tape up all the mirrors. Tape up.
Yeah, so that's where it's happening right there, that harshness.
All the mirrors. Tape up.
So I completely just dumped that frequency, and that's where the harshness is. So now I'm gonna let this.
All the mirrors. Tape up any. All the mirrors. Tape up any. All the mirrors. Tape up any to
Yeah, so it's just triggering when it gets really abrasive there.
all the mirrors. Tape up any.
Yeah, so I don't want to kill it.
All the mirrors. Tape up any to my
There we
head
go.
and chase the game.
It's just happening when it gets really abrasive. But yeah, so that's piano's good. A little reverb on that was nice. Boosted a little bit of that mid. Got rid of the lows. Not got rid of it. Balanced them back a little bit. And then I grouped these two Rhodes together because they're layers. I'm not trying to, EQ them individually. They don't need it. But a little mid-side EQ, experimenting with some of this stuff at the, I like what the Infinity EQ does here, where you can take some away. And if you put the, so this is the mid-side function, and I put it in the negative setting, which makes you boost the opposite side. So the sides are being boosted while the mid is being taken out. And that kind of, I'm just experimenting. I'm pushing the energy out as I'm reducing what's in the middle. So it's kind of like shifting that energy. I take it off. Yeah, it's giving me a little width. Really cool arrangement. I really love like his layering of the Rhodes in that. So yeah, a little bit of widening. Didn't want to go too crazy with it because that Rhodes is already pretty wide. All right, got our horns. Yeah. Always work on your stuff before you add the reverb. Let me just mute that really quick. So we got, cool, we're adding some. The reason why I'm adding this brightness here is actually because of the binaural plugin. Without the binaural plugin, because the way part of the effect of something feeling like it's going around your head is the high end. So, when I put this on, it got a little dull. So I boosted this because I needed it to compensate for that. But otherwise, just a little roll off on the low end, nothing crazy. EQ is already really nice. Add a little of this micro shift plugin to help give it a little bit of a chorusy effect, kind of make it feel less sterile, a little bit more like a record. A little bit of compression just for the sake of the texture, of compression, a little bit of that attitude. And then we have the binaural plugin just to give it a little bit of depth and just to put it in a space. Right now it just sounds like it's kind of a little behind you in a room to the right, in the room that you're in, I mean. And now I'm going to add that reverb. Now it sounds super cool. Okay, and break down that reverb. We got, let's see, my sax effects. Got some over compression on the front end. Oh, it's not over compressing at all. But I do have saturation on there as well. So we're basically saturating the sax as it goes through the plate reverb. And then the plate reverb is hitting another compressor, which I honestly thought there was more processing going on there, but let's see. Yeah, not really. Actually, let me just hide this. Yeah, no, just more saturation, really. So really, I'm just using these compressors as saturation. Then going into this Valhalla verb, because I just couldn't get enough decay out of that plate. So I added this Valhalla verb on the back end of the effects chain to give it more tail. I got it set to 5 seconds, about a 50% wet dry. And just trying to make that sax super, super huge on the reverb. Sounds good. Didn't really have to do much EQ on that thing at all. Awesome. Didn't really touch the strings or anything. Everything just kind of got some trumpet here. I didn't
All these mirrors, all these
And she said she want it back.
Yeah, I like what they did. There's nothing there that sticks out at me.
all these
And she said she want it back. She do anything to have.
Yeah, super tasteful. Not really gonna mess with it much. All right, let's talk about vocals. So lead vocal. I noticed the recording was a little dark, which it is what it is. You know, we get different microphones, different vibe. Definitely one of the things I did on her vocal that I thought helped was adding some of that tone, you know, that mid stuff that I keep talking about right here. So we got about 2K, 2.1 to be specific.
A Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them
So I'll take it off.
angles. Steady living on my pictures
Falls
ain't
back.
got tangled. Now this image I had driven had me handle. Wait, hold up. Damn.
Hear how she just pops out? It's just real all of a sudden, because that's the stuff to me that was missing. You know, we could always pull that back a little bit if it's too much.
A Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles.
You know, this would be a good application for TDR Nova, like, because it'll hit those really harsh. You know, we said we were about 2K. Just dial that in about 2K.
A Benny to my head and chase the dangle. Post some pictures on IG and switch them angles. Steady living on my pictures ain't got tangled. Now this image I had driven had me handle. Wait, hold up. Damn. Reality now.
That's really nice, yeah, because it's like you got the boost in the high mids, or in the mid range. It's like high mid, but then it's hitting that almost like it's just compressing that 2K range. So we can add the tone without making it too harsh. That's really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste that TDR Nova to her second verse.
It's been me all along, just surrounded by the masses, and I'm still all alone. Walk inside the restroom, see a spirit all alone, but her joy is so much higher, has me question where I'm wrong, and it's
A little bit of S's there. I think I'm gonna go ahead and DS her as well. Let's go ahead and.
I'm in a glass house and go for smoking mirrors. Finally put that fire out, still wait for smoke to clear up.
Perfect.
Call collector guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear you down.
Shit, first
Image
verse.
I had driven had me handle. Wait, hold up. Damn. Reality now burns inside. Look inside these mirrors.
You know, just to be consistent, I'll go ahead and put that on. Hey, got a question in the chat. Give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna put this here.
Image I had driven had me handle. Wait, hold up. Damn. Reality now burns inside.
Yeah. Don't have to overthink it, right? You put it on, it works. You don't have to sit there and fiddle with the settings if you don't have to. All right, let's see what JD's asking. Oh, he said, I'd recommend a little bit more sibilance control as I'm doing that. So cool. We're great minds think alike, right? Yeah, absolutely. And also with the reverbs too, you got to watch that because I was already rolling off some high end off of the reverb. But yeah, absolutely. For me, you know, that stuff always comes more clear towards the end. It's always like I'm in, you know, a certain mindset. And then when I sit back and listen, it's like, okay, yeah, those S's definitely need to be controlled. You know, one of the best ways of doing that is with clip gain, but this de-esser seems to work really nicely. But sometimes you can just clip gain down those S's, especially if you're the one doing the vocal editing. All right, let's keep rolling through this. So yeah, I got a little sidetracked there, of course, because I found new things that I wanted to do. But we had the EQ. Now you saw I just put a de-esser on there, the TDR Nova to control the mid-range. Compression for texture, you know, it's hip-hop. You got to get that. Got to get a little bit of nice attitude on the vocal added with that compressor.
Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at? Why she there and so alive? These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised.
Yeah, a little saturation, just trying to add a little something nice there. So yeah, just It gave me what I wanted. A little bit of this micro shift plug-in, just a little bit of that modulation kind of glues the voice of the track, makes it feel a little less raw. And then we have the Valhalla room to add a little space. I was experimenting.
Look inside these mirrors and this person I can't recognize. Who this girl I'm looking at? Why she there and so alive? These 4 angles stuck inside this box like she been televised.
It really does. It adds a sense of dimension to it, but it's not anything crazy. You get way more with the with the reverb that we have on there. But I do feel like that room adds a nice subtle feel to it.
Call, collect a guy, reposition just to hear him. Hello, can you hear me now? Response could always hear you, dang.
All right, so yeah, so that's about on the leads with just a little bit of a balancing act there with some of the EQ stuff.
Bad. She do anything to have. Bought it all to give it back.
Yep. So then we got basically the same exact signal chain on our, let's see here, go to our chorus. I know we split out. There it is. Hold on, I'm just getting, there we go. Yeah, so this is our kind of like pre-chorus, post-chorus. I guess we'll call it a post-chorus.
Bought it all to give it back. For the mirrors, for the mirrors, for the mirror finally matched.
Yeah. So similar signal chain. We got the de-esser on there, console EQ, compressor, micro shift, and then the room reverb. And I don't think we had a whole lot of other. Oh, of course we had our little. I had to put that binaural plug in, and then automate it with the LFO. That was kind of cool. So we could watch it moving around, because that's all it's really good for, right? Just so we could watch it move around. It sounds good. I like it. Go Ableton for their macros. Cool. So yeah, that is kind of the general rundown. EQ stuff is pretty standard for me. I love that this track gave me some more kind of flexibility to play with like vocal effects and things like that. I miss that. I don't get enough of a chance to do that on my on my general mixes. So yeah, let's talk about the master chain. I experimented with this. I'm not 100% sold on what I'm doing on the master chain right now. It's okay, but it could be. I don't know if I want it to be this dirty. It's feeling a little dirty right now, but at the same time, it's getting in the right direction. But the limiters, I generally do the double limiter approach just to try to get a little bit of the work off of one, distribute the work between the two. And the first one always ends up being pushed more because that's where a lot of the gain comes from. And then into the second one, I was experimenting with the Shadow Hills a little bit.
Who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God slowly shows you that soul behold, and that joy you go, and that mirror just showed proof. Mirror just showed you all these mirrors just appearing.
The Shadow Hills is just a nice texture. It has two different engines on it, optical and discrete. You just got to play with them, get something that works. But yeah, I really didn't do much on the master chain besides limiting that Shadow Hills compressor, and then I tried to control some of the mid-range on this mid-side EQ here.
Who do I gotta go through? How much do it cost? Who do I gotta show proof? For the pure soul just to go loose. When you all alone, you blast phones and God slowly shows you that soul behold, and that joy you go, and that mirror just showed proof. Mirror just showed you.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing where I may turn this off and go and address that stuff in the mix, but this might work nicely. So, but yeah, I definitely need to, take a break from the mix, come back, and listen to it with fresh ears. And it's always the details that define when something is, it's at that, for me at least, when it gets to that point where it's like, I can't think of anything wrong in terms of frequency response, like the way it's hitting the limiting and the mastering and all that stuff. It's those little details in the mix that tend to translate to the other stuff, like the mastering stuff working for me. So I feel like there's a couple things I might be overlooking in the mix regarding like maybe some low end in certain instruments. But then again, I could listen to this tomorrow morning and be like, this is perfect. I'm ready for the notes from Jenae. So that's kind of where I'm at. Any questions about what we've done up to this point? Let me know. Otherwise, we are probably pretty close to wrapping things up here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap it up if there's no more questions. I really appreciate everybody coming out today. We'll be doing another one of these on Monday. I'm not sure who the artist will be, so next Monday it might be a mastering session or it might be a mixing session. Thank you, JD. I appreciate you. And yeah, so just keep an eye out for that. And as always, if any of you have any questions, if you want us to hear anything, also if you want to use us for your projects, we are always available. Myself and Corey, aka Colormind. You can hit us up on Instagram. And I appreciate that, Jenae. I'm just I'm checking out your. Oh yeah, because you definitely got to check it out with better headphones for sure. She's just saying I can't wait to hear it on better headphones. But yeah, appreciate everybody. Thank you so much, and yeah, the kind words. Thank you. So yeah, you can hit us up if you have projects you're working on. We're happy to take a listen, or if you want to work with us, reach out to us, and we'll definitely talk. We will be back here, as I said, on Monday for another project. You can check out my website at markbarrymusic.com. You can check out Corey's website at colormindmusic.com. We put these up on Twitch. They're up for like 2 weeks, so you can check them out after the fact. Fast forward, pause, and get all the information you need to. And then we also put these up on YouTube after the fact. You can check out the Colormind Music channel on there as well. So subscribe to that. If you haven't followed this channel, please do so. We really appreciate that. And yeah, just look for more from us. And we hope to see everybody here on next Monday's stream. We appreciate everybody coming. Thank you so much for your time and for spending your time with us. And on behalf of myself and Colormind, we will see everybody soon. Take care. Peace.